Hello and welcome back to the show. I just thought I'd better make a video because I haven't made a video for a few days, and just to let you know I'm not actually dead. And now if the camera goes out of focus, I'm sorry, I've had a bit of a hissy fit with it because I couldn't get the focus to work, and it just seems at the moment everything's going wrong. But I wanted to give you an update really on my health and the fact that I may or may not be doing videos for a few days because it's just too difficult to set up the lights and the camera with this strange muscle problem that I've got. I can tell you it's extremely depressing, and I've been struggling on with this for about 6 weeks. And of course, I've reached out for help to various people, and everybody's a doctor, aren't they? Everybody's got an opinion. Somebody said the other day, oh, check yourself out for Lyme disease. If it's not Lyme disease, go and see a chiropractor or an osteopath, or starve yourself for 3 days, or get onto a carnivore diet, or do this or do that, or jump through this hoop or jump through that hoop. And I haven't done all of those things, but I can tell you that none of them have worked. And so this is for somebody like myself who's a bit of a doer, a get up and goer, and want to be up on the land and doing things. We've not really been able to do very much on our land project. This has been extremely frustrating, as you can imagine. Now, I'm not looking for sympathy from the audience. I'm not trying to sort of get attention that way, and I didn't really want to talk about this. But I think I owe it to the viewers who enjoy the show, not those that want to see me dead or want to see me, you know, in pain. I'm sure they're quite happy to see this. And if you've looked at the comments, you'll know how many grumpy people are out there who really don't like me for one reason or another. But I don't care about them. I just care about the very nice people who've been in touch and have been very caring, supportive, and have donated to the show, and indeed bought my book. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am for that. It's absolutely amazing. And the thought that went through my mind is that I know a number of people bought my book at Christmas time to give to somebody else to open at Christmas. And it's a strange feeling that somebody would have opened my book on Christmas Day as a complete surprise, whether they knew the author or not, or ever heard of me, which is probably unlikely. And they thought, well, that's an interesting book. Of course, when they start to read it, they may think actually it's a bit of a strange book and full of conspiratorial issues. Of course, the idea is that those in the know will enjoy the story, and those not in the know may well be educated. So that was thrilling. So thank you so much for that. So as you may or may not know, and if you've come to the channel for the first time and you think, who is this bald bloke, what's he talking about? I seem to have slipped over in my van some 6 weeks ago to pick something up. And in order to avoid hitting, or falling rather, on the pitchfork and impaling myself, I managed to twist and fall. And as a result of that, I pulled a muscle in my upper thigh inside the pelvic area. I don't know what it's called, Julia knows, but anyway. And it didn't seem to be a problem at first, and it was only a problem in my leg, and I was hobbling about. And then over subsequent nights, I started to find that my whole body was crippling up. And in fact, it was like waking up in the night, a living man with rigor mortis. In other words, everything had gone so stiff that I couldn't move anything, and if I did move, it was in extreme pain. Now, I say all of this because there may be somebody who's gone through this same thing and can tell me what the remedy is, because it's, as I alluded to just now, it is so damn frustrating. And poor Julia, who's abandoned her kids at the moment to stay and look after me because I was so crippled I could barely move, is frustrated to the point that, you know, we're in the same room and trying to heat the house. It's cold outside. It's, you know, keeping the fire on. She's now irritated with me and is fed up to the back teeth. And I don't blame her, you know. And then I'm on a 3-day fast at the moment, which I don't know whether you've done that when you've been in extreme pain, but all you want to do is eat. And I don't feel hungry at the moment. This is the 3rd day of it, and I'm not at all hungry. Yesterday I got those hunger pains, so I've obviously gone through the wall, and now I don't care whether I eat or not. Although at 6 o'clock tonight I am going to have a sausage and go on to a carnivore diet and see if that helps. I've had advice from all sorts of people, as I've mentioned, but unless you know your own body, all you can do is listen to that advice and take it, seriously. Some people are saying, oh, take some cocodamine, take some Tramadol. And I don't want any medication, pharmaceutical medication. I don't want anything from the NHS, public enemy number one. And this, I suppose, brings me to the main crux of the video. Because I've had to be curtailed and try to sit around a bit and relax, although that actually is more painful than moving about, it struck me that if you are trying to break out of the system, if you are trying to escape from this artificial world, which the UK, wherever that is, because it doesn't really exist, I live on Earth, on a landmass called Britain, which is a real place. UK, of course, is a political construct. It's all in the mind, along with UK legislation and the legal fiction. And I've spoken about that at length, as you know. But if you are trying to live outside the system, and then you have some physical deformity of whatever it is, or an illness or a mental problem, you feel there is nowhere to go, because we haven't set, and I did a video about this, where are all the health hubs? Yes, there are people in far-flung places, but there is no alternative at the moment to a place that you can go free at the point of entry, like the NHS, but that is an alternative system. And it seems to me this is something that is drastically missing, so that if you are in some suffering, you can go without having to spend an absolute fortune, because once you take yourself out of the system, you can't work for corporations, dead entities, because you have to be a legal fiction. You have to be on PAYE. You can't do that. You can't be in these systems where you're earning lots of money and getting pensions. My pension, funnily enough, is coming up. But it's not my pension, of course. It's in a legal fiction, a name that's been registered by the Crown and the government, and it's not mine to spend. It's not even my money. It's not even real money. It's fiat currency that doesn't actually exist. It's just a promise to pay. And if you're trying to be true to being out of the system and exist, you are on your own. You are very much on your own, because there is no one else to turn to. And this is why it is so urgent at this time, with the ridiculous policies that the government and subsequent governments and future governments are likely to put together. It is so important that we build up communities of resilience, of small, almost independent states from this fake world that we're in, so that we can go and communicate and have friends, because we need each other. You cannot operate on your own. The books of John Seymour on self-sufficiency was enough to prove to him that even with his wife, and I can't remember how many daughters he had, with 5 acres, it was very difficult to be self-sufficient totally alone, that you need other people around. And we need people. And so in this situation that I'm in, I need somewhere I can go which isn't going to cost me a fortune in money that I don't necessarily have. And we need to build up an alternative health system, but an alternative system where you're not a legal fiction, you're not a dead entity. You don't have to work for these big corporations with their line managers and everybody shitting on everybody else below them because they've all got targets and all these things. This is not what we are put on the earth for. We are put on this earth to shine, to have joy, to thrive. And this is a fake world that we see ourselves in, and it's being manipulated by devilish people who want to see us suffer. We know they want to kill us off. We know that they want to reduce the population. We know they want to get rid of farmers and continue to supply us with absolute artificial food that has no vitamins and no minerals in it and no good to us. We know all of this. And yet the vast majority will shrug their shoulders, which in my case is quite painful, and they will just go, oh, well, that's what it is. People are not it seems to me, are prepared to stand up, walk away from that system and set up an alternative system so that they can thrive, so they don't have to go and work 9 to 5 under artificial lights in front of screens, selling stuff that is meaningless to other people so that they are stuck in a continual pattern of a hamster wheel themselves. This is all wrong. And at some point, somewhere along the line, people have got to get hold of the mantle and say, no, I'm standing up for this. I'm walking away from this ridiculous system. I don't care about the pension. I don't care about the corporations. I don't care. I've got to walk in truth. And somewhere along the line, we've got to do that, because otherwise we are doomed. And we are all just floundering around, pretending and pissing in the wind, saying, oh yes, you know, the truth matters, let the lion of truth out, it's all going to happen, it's all going to change. But unless we actually do something, unless we walk away and we say no to digital ID, no to the sodding chemtrails that's going up on in the skies, unless we march down and throttle those people, not literally, but metaphorically, those people who have assumed power. From where? Where do they get their power? Where? Why are they able to say to a woman, you can't have your children anymore. You've got to be evicted from your house. You owe us money for just sitting in a house with a roof and walls and being out of the wind. This is not a right world. You know it and I know it. And it bugs me, and I've been just walking up the wall with this, trying in the last 3 years to get people to see it. But people have been so dumb with their Netflix accounts, their Amazon Prime, watching the mainstream media, watching YouTube videos which are telling them to buy things and do all these other bits and pieces, and be in fear. It is time to cut away the fear, to walk away from this ridiculous system and set something up new. If 2026 has anything to offer, it has to be a new world, a new way of doing things, not more of the same and continually bowing and pulling one's forelock to these idiots who have assumed power when they shouldn't have. Thank you for listening. I hope that you have a great New Year's Eve. I don't know whether I'm going to make any more videos or where I'm going, because until I can get myself back to normal, get back on the land and try and do what I want to say I do, and that is be as self-sufficient as possible and work with other self-sufficient people and build up that network and take back responsibility, then there is no point. There is no point. Until next time, whenever that is, thank you for watching. And by the way, before I go, if you want to read a little bit more about these thoughts, then Biggleswick, the town that wouldn't comply, which is a fictional story, but it looks at all these things, and the town looks at these things and says, we want to get out of that system. We don't want that system. And well, I'll let you read it to see. If you want a copy, it isn't available on Amazon. It isn't available in bookshops and on the behest of other corporations. It has been self-published and is only available from me, because it would be hypocrisy for me to then put it on Amazon, a big corporation who not only can take most of the money, but edit the text if they don't like it. And say, oh no, we can't have him talking about this. We'll subtly edit it because it's in the terms and conditions, and that's how it. So if you want it, email me directly. I think you'll find it interesting. It is amusing in places, and it has a serious tone too. Richard@vobes, VOBES.com. I have a few left. It would be great to get them out there and see if it can make anybody's minds change. And if you have a friend who might benefit from being slowly, gently awakened to some of these themes, then perhaps Biggleswick is the book for you. So there we are. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. It's been great fun making these videos, and once I can get to make another one, I will. But I don't know when that is. I'm just racked in pain and aches and various things, and I'm hoping this will go. But until next time, bye for now.